All right, we are live. Welcome, DoorGrow hackers, to the DoorGrow Show. If you are a property management entrepreneur that wants to add doors, make a difference, increase revenue, help others, impact lives, and you are interested in growing your business and life, and you are open to doing things a bit differently, then you are a DoorGrow hacker. DoorGrow hackers love the opportunities, daily variety, unique challenges, and freedom that property management brings. Many in real estate think you're crazy for doing it. You think they're crazy for not, because you realize that property management is the ultimate high trust gateway to real estate deals, relationships, and residual income. At DoorGrow, we are on a mission to transform property management businesses and their owners. We want to transform the industry, eliminate the BS, build awareness, change the perception, expand the market, and help the best property management entrepreneurs win. I'm your host, property management growth expert, Jason Hull, the founder and CEO of DoorGrow. Now let's get into the show. Okay, so today what we are going to be talking about, this was prompted by a question that I saw posted on Facebook. Somebody asked the question like, what do you wish you could do differently, now that you run a property management business? If you could go back in time, what would you do differently? And there were lots of jokes, from people saying, I would start a pizza company, or I would like a pizza place, or I'd do something else, right? Like I wouldn't do it. This is a common joke. And, and there's pain underneath those statements, because there are a lot of property management businesses that A, suck, and that B, because they have miserable business owners. They're not happy. And I just want to point out that I don't believe it's because of the industry. There are miserable business owners in any business, or in any industry, or any category, business category. I think the challenge is that the business owners that are not happy out there, which there's a lot in a lot of industries, there's a lot in the property management industry, but the ones that are not happy are the ones that are not in alignment with the 4 reasons, which I talked about on an earlier episode. Go back and check that out. So, and if you're out of alignment with that, the real issue is that you are doing the wrong things in the business. You are in the wrong role. And so that's the challenge. So let's talk about today. I want to talk about 13 tips that you should know if you're a startup property manager. These are probably 13 things you wish you had known or should know if you're starting a property management business. Some of these are real practical, and some of these are a little bit more, high level or mindset or whatever. But I'm going to talk about some of the most, I just made a list of like the 13 most common mistakes that I see people make starting property management companies. I've made a pretty decent living in helping property managers either start up their businesses, or helping, most of the time, helping clean up the mistakes they made during the startup process. It's a lot of what I do at DoorGrow. And so I've talked to thousands of property managers. I've gotten to see inside of a lot of businesses. I get to hear what actually goes on behind the scenes, the pain, the sorrow, the sadness, and the joy when we get things figured out and dialed in. And so let's get into these. So, and these are in no particular order or priority. These are just how they came out of my head. But one of the first things I thought of, one of the biggest mistakes that I see, number one, is choosing property management software based on what's cheapest. That's a mistake. A lot of times property managers either don't use software in the beginning, or they choose something cheap or less expensive. And my recommendation is choose property management software that you can live with forever. The reason being, if you can choose software that you can live with forever, that software is going to be, it's going to save you a lot more money in the long run, right? You're going to end up spending a lot of money, on, staffing costs instead. So if you go cheap on software in the beginning, because you're like, hey, this is a lower price, those costs get translated and pushed onto staff. And so don't pick it based on what's cheapest. I'm not saying get the most expensive software, but get the software that can do the most, that's going to give you the most leverage. I typically like to recommend Rent Manager, simply because I hear the most positive feedback on it. It's It's not an investor-backed company where their primary goal, if they're honest, is to please their financial backers. That's not their goal, like, some software out there. It's not owned by some bigger conglomerate or company, as far as I know. They have one of the best property management conferences I've heard in the industry. But clients seem to just really love Rent Manager. They love that software. And I've seen it used by really large enterprises that have thousands of doors in multiple markets. And I've seen it used by startups, and it seems to work for a variety of different types of management. And it has an open API. It connects and integrates with everything, is what that means generally. And so that would be my recommendation. But don't push the costs onto staff, because staff are far more expensive. All right, number 2, don't give out your direct real cell phone number to tenants and owners. It's so easy to do early on. Real estate agents are absolute whores with their cell phone numbers. That happens all the time. Every guy or gal in real estate just gives it out to everybody, puts it on park benches, puts it up on yard signs, right? For property management, that's a whole different game. Like, you need to insulate and protect yourself and not be reachable all the time by cell phone. So you need to get some other service. You might get something like DoorGrow, which works great with cell phones, low latency, voice over IP system that allows you to use your cell phones, works really well, and it's low cost, and you can build out a phone tree and protect yourself and route it to different services that you bring on later. But you could even go and just get some sort of phone app in the App Store to get a second phone number that can allow you to do text messaging, phone calls. I've heard of some people using an app called Burner and some of these. And so, but have a different phone number than your real cell phone number, and just save that for those that you really want to be able to reach you, family, friends, not clients and customers. Okay. Number 3, learn how to win the online reviews game before you start to play it and are losing, which is the default. So if you're a restaurant, in the restaurant industry, this is critical, right? You start up a business, you're hoping it's going to make money. You put all this investment into it, and you start getting some bad reviews initially because you make some mistakes, and suddenly it just compounds and piles on, and you just get more and more bad reviews, and you're not getting good reviews, right? And the business could die. Now, in property management, the default also is that you're going to get bad reviews from tenants and owners. They're going to be frustrated, tenants especially, if they don't get their deposit back, or they, whatever, right? You need to know how to play this game. In DoorGrow Academy, we have a training called Reputation Secrets, and I teach clients how to win at this game. But you need to have a strategy for this before the reviews just start to happen, because the default is you will lose. And that is a significant impact. A lot of people mistakenly assume they'll just get good reviews if they just do good service, and that is not the case. That's not how the review game works. So you need to, before you start to play that game, you need to know how to win that game. And it's not a hard game to win. Okay. Number 4, one of the biggest mistakes I see, a really big tip here is, do not price yourself as the cheapest. Do not be the cheapest in your market. Do not price yourself at the low end of the market or at the bottom. There's already a race to the bottom. This is a fast track to building a business that's not sustainable, that's painful, that's uncomfortable, and it helps you attract more and more of the bottom of the barrel and the worst clients and residents. And that's not the type of business that you want to get caught up in. Price yourself at the top of the market. It's better to be the most expensive than the cheapest, in my opinion. And there's a lot more nuance to that, and pricing psychology and strategy that we get into, in our Mastermind program, that I love to coach clients on, because I have not yet had a property manager come to me that had really effective pricing. It's always something we can optimize, improve, and then they can close more deals at a higher price point more easily. And so that price sensitivity, that sense of scarcity that they're getting pushed back on, and that price sensitivity and pain that they're dealing with owners, there's lots of ways to mitigate that, remove it, or capture better prospects. They're not like that, like the cheapos of the world. So, but that's the default. That's what most property managers do. They try to be the cheapest, or they try to charge what everybody else is charging in their market, and they're all making similar mistakes. So, number 5, make sure your business name ends with property management. This is one of the most common mistakes. Almost every startup seems to have real estate or realty in the name, or they choose something generic so they can do it for multiple industries like properties. They might even put rentals, which is weird. So real simple when it comes to branding, and we've helped rebrand hundreds of companies, redoing their names, redoing their logos, hundreds. We are the world's leading property management branding and design agency. Like nobody's done more rebrands than us, period, in the property management space. That's the most common mistake that we see, is just not ending your name with property management. Just end your name with property management and be a property management company, right? Be a master of one trade instead of a jack of all trades, right? And a master of none. All right. So number 6, learn to create a business without paid advertising, and you'll never struggle with growth, and you will save a shit ton of time and money. A ton of time and money. Cold lead advertising takes a lot of money, and it wastes a lot of time because you have to nurture these leads. There's far better strategies for growth. So what I mean by cold leads, I'm talking about SEO, pay per click, like Google Ads, content marketing, social media marketing, pay per lead services. You do not have to do these things in order to grow your business. In fact, there's faster and better ways. I'm not saying don't do those. All of those can be effective if you do the right things, but they can be costly, and that's not where you should start spending your time and energy. The number one way that almost every business owner I've talked to ever in property management, and I ask, where have you gotten the majority of the doors you have now? It's always word of mouth. So figure out how to play that game and figure out a way to create it, to intentionally make it, and to be outbound about it instead of just inbound, which means waiting for stuff to just come to you. So we have an outbound partner prospecting program that we teach in DoorGrow Academy and in we call it Referral Secrets in our Mastermind program. And this has helped some of our clients add hundreds of doors in a year's time without spending any money on advertising. It just takes time, but it takes less time than it would be if they were just being spoon-fed a bunch of cold leads. It takes less time and they get more doors. It's a no-brainer, right? Okay. The next item, number 7, don't take on shitty clients or properties. I've talked over and over again about what I call the cycle of suck. Take on a shitty owner, you have a shitty property, you have a shitty tenant, you're going to get a shitty reputation in the marketplace, right? This is the cycle of suck. Escape the cycle of suck, filter at each stage. And the most important is be careful about the types of owners that you take on. This is the most important thing because this starts the entire cycle. Be careful about the properties that you take on. And of course, screen the tenants. You all do that. And have a strategy in place. We've already talked about reviews. Have a strategy in place to get more good reviews and to mitigate or filter or prevent the negative reviews. If you are able to do this, you will have significantly lower operational costs than most property management companies, which means you'll be more profitable and you'll be able to invest more into growth and into your team and into scaling your operations. So don't take on shitty clients and properties. Really simple. In the beginning, a lot of people think they need to take on everybody. And this is one of the most common mistakes, and they do it at too low of a price point. And they're needy, and needy is creepy, and it prevents you from getting on better business. All right. The next item, the next tip for a startup or starting a property management business is do not hire until you are clear on your culture, which means your values, what matters to you, and you've created that in a tangible way, which means it's written, it's documented, and you are clear on what you should be doing in the business. Meaning you are clear on the things that bring you those 4 reasons. You know what gives you more fulfillment, more freedom, more contribution, and so that you can get more support, right? You need to understand yourself, because if you don't understand yourself, you're going to do the wrong things as a business owner. You're going to wear every hat in the beginning. The hats you need to get rid of are the ones that are minus signs for you. They are not energetic plus signs. They do not give you life and energy. You need to strategically focus on that. I talk about time studies and things like that in our program, ways of figuring out which things energize you versus draining you. I talk about the 5 currencies of time, energy, effort, focus, cash, and figuring out what is going to give me the most fulfillment and freedom? What's going to bring me more joy? You need to understand what that role is that you're going to be moving towards. You don't have to do anything in the business in the long run. You could offload everything, but there's certain things that are going to bring you joy and fulfillment. And that's why we have businesses. It's one of the main reasons. So you need to figure out what is that for you, so that you can build the right team around the right person. If you're showing up as the wrong person, you start to build a team and you don't have the culture and you don't have yourself clear, you're going to build the wrong team and you're going to be frustrated with them. And you're going to be like most of the 200 to 400 door companies that are, the business owner is in a state of constant burnout, frustration, just frustrated that they cannot get their team members to think and make decisions because they've set up their business the wrong way, and they are annoyed and they are micromanaging everybody, even though they don't want to admit it. So make sure you get clear on that. That's something that we help clients with. Clients give me the feedback, they dial this stuff in, that was the most important training and material they went through in our mastermind program, which is what I call Purpose Secrets. And getting that clarity, and it helps them build their dream team so they can have their dream business. Because if you don't have the business of your dreams, as one of my coaches and mentors would say, then you are not yet the person that can run it yet. And that means you just don't have clarity on yourself. All right. The next thing is number 9 tip, starting a business. When we start a business, we all have a fantasy. It is so sexy. It is so seductive that we're willing to take a risk against the advice sometimes of family and friends. And we start a business. We spend money. We spend massive amounts of time and energy to do this, to go towards this fantasy. Everybody has a fantasy when they start up a business. You have to be willing to kill the fantasy. So this tip is kill the fantasy early. You know that you're delaying this death of the fantasy. And what I mean by killing the fantasy is, if you want a reality, if you want a real business that actually pays you, because fantasies are sexy and nice and they make you feel good, but they don't pay you. They don't actually give you a real life result, right? The fantasy just kind of makes your brain feel good and gives you some chemicals. But if you want to have a real business, you have to get a reality business. You have to kill the fantasy. If you want that, you have to let it die. So kill it early. And what I mean by this is, some business owners delay this. They mentally masturbate, as one of my mentors or coaches would say. They don't take the right action, and they spend a lot of time doing all the action that's safe. I'm going to work on my branding or my business card or my logo or my website for 100 hours, and I'm going to build. They're doing all this stuff, and they're not getting clients and they're not getting paid. You don't need any of that stuff. The only one thing that you need in order to have a property management business, there's one thing that without it, you don't have a business, is clients. That's the one thing. And you can just get clients. I've seen people add hundreds of doors without a website, without a good brand name, without a logo. Certainly these things can help improve things and make things go faster, but you don't need t-shirts printed. You don't need a cool brick and mortar building. You just need some tenacity, some work ethic, and to take the right action. And so that's the first thing I start clients on. If they're in a startup stage or they want to grow their business, we start them down what I call the Grow program first. Let's get you adding doors. Then we can clean up branding and website and your sales pipeline, and then it'll go faster. But there's no point having something that's going to help you go faster if you're not even moving yet, right? Let's get you moving and making some money first. So kill the fantasy early. Do the uncomfortable, hard stuff first. If it's uncomfortable, if you're avoiding it, if you don't want to do it, it's probably a sign that that's where you should go. Lean into the pain early in the business, and the business will be less painful forever. All right. What is next? Number 10, make property management the focus. I mean, at least during the startup stage. I've seen so many that have it as a side hustle. It's a side hustle for years, or they come into sometimes into my program and it's a side hustle and they don't even choose into focusing on it. And then after about 3 or 4 months, they realize they finally get honest and connect to reality. They're not going to do the work because they don't really want to invest in that business or focus on it. And then they just give up, quit, stop the business, or just leave it where it is. And they don't make it a focus or a priority. So if you want this to succeed and go fast, give it a real chance of success. It's like if you have a baby that's born, you need to take really good care of that baby, at least for the first little while, right? First few years, because otherwise that baby is not going to be able to feed itself, change itself, take care of itself, right? That's your business. Your business is this baby. You need to take care of it in the beginning, and eventually you can build a team, you can build systems, you can offload things, you can focus on other passions or other businesses if you want to, but it needs to be a focus if you want this to work. And this is one of the biggest challenges I see is they don't make it a focus and they artificially keep feeding into this business from the resources and revenue and staff in their existing healthy business. So then you end up with this cancerous tumor on the side of a healthy real estate company, for example, that's a property management business and it's not profitable. I had one client that had 600 doors when he first came to me and was making $0 in his business. That's painful. Too many expenses, too much staff, too many resources, cycle of suck, all of these things were going on, lack of technology, etc. Because a healthy company would have had to make significant changes at about 100 doors or so or earlier just to break the 100-door barrier. And they were able to artificially skip past that in terms of door count because they had another business they could siphon resources from. Make sure your business can stand on its own 2 feet and make it the focus. Number 11, protect your time and offload as early as possible emergency or after hours maintenance calls. You need to value yourself and protect yourself. You could get a service like a Bodia or Latchel or Easy Repair Hotline. I've heard good things about. You could sign up eventually once you get maybe 50 to 100 doors. It might make sense to get a service like Property Meld, and they work really nicely, I guess, with Easy Repair Hotline under their full service plan. I've heard great things about the Property Meld service over and over again from clients. But as soon as possible, offload emergency or after hour maintenance calls. You're the business owner, and protect yourself, protect your time, and protect your time with your family. When you start to value yourself and value your time, other people will start to value you and value your time. And that means they'll want to pay you. They'll want to give you money because you're valuable, right? You have something to offer them. Don't be low value. All right. So the next thing is number 12 tip when starting a property management business. One of the biggest problems I see with entrepreneurs is this distraction of opportunity. We see opportunity everywhere as entrepreneurs. So my big tip is reduce variations as soon as possible. Variation, what do I mean by that? I mean, shift your focus towards simplicity and doing as little as possible, like one thing, one main business. You will go faster. That means reducing variation means have less types of management that you offer. Don't try to do commercial and residential and multifamily and trailer parks and, storage units, right? Pick a niche and really focus on it. Reduce variation. Don't have custom contracts that you're trying to negotiate every time. Get a lawyer, get your contract tight, and determine this is what it's going to be and improve it over time. And don't fold on it, right? They're looking for an expert that they can trust. Be that expert that they can trust. Don't fold, right? Don't cave in. So reduce variation in the business. The more variation you have, the more side hustles you have, the more random things that you're trying to do, the more services you think might be a good idea that you're trying to incorporate. If you do those at the wrong time, it just creates speed bumps. It slows you down. So try to reduce variation. So my business, we basically have one product, one service, one sales pipeline. And it's like our growth has skyrocketed as a result. And in the beginning, I had this company called Open Potion, and it was Open Potion website design and business solutions. And I was trying to do, I was like, I'm going to set up computer networks and set up businesses' phones. And I could do their websites, and I could help with logos. And like, I was going to do everything because I thought I could do all this stuff. Well, over time, we've done less and less and less, and made ourselves more and more focused, even focusing on a niche and becoming DoorGrow, so that we can become more effective and reduce the amount of variation in the business. It allows us to go deeper, help our clients even more, and reduces the complexity so that we can service more clients more quickly and provide better service, right? Number 13, do not be a know-it-all and collapse time by getting a coach. Now, I know you're like, Jason, you're a coach. Come on. Like, this is biased. Transparency time here. I was that guy. Like, I tried to do everything myself in the beginning. I tried to watch the YouTube videos and read every book, and I thought, I'm so smart. I can figure anything out. I am smart enough to probably eventually figure everything out, but it takes a decade to go that route, when you could collapse time in a year if you worked with somebody that already has invested a decade into this. So I started this business in 2008. I've been helping property managers since then. It's over a decade. And I've also been able to incorporate knowledge, wisdom, and ideas from clients, hundreds of clients, thousands of property managers that I've talked to, being able to pull in the best ideas. I'm really good at piecing together various pieces and ideas and creating new things. It's just kind of my area of genius as a ENTP, if you're familiar with Myers-Briggs. I'm always looking for truth and looking for what works, and that's kind of my skill set. And but that the trap in that is I always thought I could figure it out. But when I got coaches, I started to actually go fast. Nothing helps you collapse more time than getting mentors or coaches that know what they're doing. They can help you move forward a lot faster. When I started getting coaches and mentors, and I'm very careful about who I choose as mentors or coaches nowadays, because I'm at a level to where a bad coach or a bad mentor could do a lot of damage. So one of the things I look at is, do I want to be more like that person? Do they have a lifestyle that I would like to have more of in my life? Do I feel like they're a good person? Do they have values? That's important to me. Do they have knowledge that they can share? Are they sharp? Right. And so get a coach, get resources around you, get mentors. It's going to help you collapse time far faster. And this takes humility. It's hard for us as business owners, especially early on, because we think we know a lot. And over the years, a lot of pain and failures and mistakes helps us learn, like, we really have no clue. We're all just winging it. And there's a lot of people that are far beyond where I'm at that I could learn from. And so, so don't be a know-it-all, get a coach and collapse time. And if you feel like I might be able to be that coach and might be able to help you grow and scale your business, we have over 80 businesses in our mastermind, which means hundreds of people, over 100 people in our mastermind program that we are coaching and mentoring and helping move their business forward. You get access to me with one-on-ones. You get access to me through video, voice, text message, through Telegram Messenger, and we do 2 weekly calls each week. And we have a repository of training material I built out in DoorGrowAcademy.com that you get access to as well. And then you get the support and help from my team. We include a website in the program, and branding, and all this is just part of this mastermind experience. And my goal is to keep clients forever, so that I'm adding value. And it's very easy for me to help a client offset the cost of this program by double, so that this program feels like it's now paying you. Very easy, no brainer. So if you're interested in the DoorGrow and Scale Mastermind, reach out to us, reach out to my team, check us out at doorgrow.com. Join our Facebook group at doorgrowclub.com. And we would love to talk with you and see if you might be a good fit for our culture and for our program and for the types of clients we want to help and service. And there's nothing I enjoy more really in my business than helping coach the clients. It's super fun. So it's Wednesday. I got to do one of those calls today, and it's super rewarding being able to hear all the wins, hear people adding doors, hear the questions, and be able to support these people in growing their businesses. And I'd be honored to be able to support you. It's my passion. It's what I love doing. So, and with that, those are the 13 tips for those that are in the startup stage. And if I were to add a bonus one here, I would say get around other people doing what you want to be doing. Join NARPM, get around other property managers, get to know your local competition. It's a friendly space, and create some relationships and be connected. Don't be an island in your business. And our mastermind could be a support or channel for that as well. But make sure you're connected to people. So I'll leave it at that. And until next time, to our mutual growth. Bye, everyone.